Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Vote Voiced podcast. I thank you for being with me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And we're going to cover what we need to remind ourselves about voting. We have elections coming up. This is Donna Miller. I am your host of the Vote Voiced podcast. Welcome. I want you to like and share this podcast. Get the word out for us. Remember, Vote Voice is a non-profit, non-partisan voter engagement nonprofit that's dedicated to voter education, voter registration, mobilization, and voter protection. I want you to help Vote Voice to continue to engage voters. Donate to Vote Voiced at secure.qgive.com/4/VVNF. That's secure.QGIV.com/FOR/VVNF. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, and you can find our podcast at Anchor and Spotify and wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can visit us at www.votevoice.com. Okay? You can download a voting plan checklist at www.votevoice.com. Okay? We're going to be talking more about voting plans and what's coming up for our elections. Now, here in Michigan, and I want you to check wherever you're listening, I want you to check to see what day your primaries are and what day your election is. Now, here in Michigan, we have a primary August 7th, 2022, and we have an election November 3rd, 2022. Okay? Now, it's important for you to complete your absentee ballot application. All right? You may have that already in the mail. You may have already sent it back. Okay? If you have not requested to be on the voter absentee ballot roll, please go ahead and do that if that's what you want to do. Let's talk about this absentee ballot application. You're going to sign it and you're going to return it as soon as possible. Now I want you to remember to tell 3 friends to remember to vote. And if they're voting absentee, remind them to complete their ballot application, sign it, and return it. Okay? Now, you can use the online absent ballot voter application tool. Okay? You need to be registered to vote in Michigan, have a valid Michigan driver's license or state ID. Okay? Now, if you need to register to vote, you can go to michigan.gov and hit on register to vote, or just look up register to vote. Okay? If you don't have a Michigan's driver's license or state ID, you can still, but you are registered to vote. You can just go to absentee voting for more information about how to apply for absent voter ballot. Okay? Now listen, if you do not have your absentee ballot application yet, I suggest you contact your local clerk's office and inquire about your application. Now, as soon as you receive your application, complete it, sign it, and send it back as soon as possible. Okay, and I want to stress again, tell 3 friends to vote. Make sure your voter registration information is up to date at your current address. Okay? Now, if you visit www.votevoice.com, you'll see that there's a button to register also. Okay? And If the online registration is closed, you will not be able to register online. You'll not be able to register, okay? Even at www.votevoice.com, okay? Okay, now, if you okay, so let's just talk about a little bit about this voting plan, okay? Now you can go to www.votevoice.com for a free download of a voting plan checklist, as I said earlier. Okay, now you can create your voting plan with your polling place information, the time you're voting, how you'll get there, if you're going to take a bus, walk, or drive. Remember, in Michigan, and mostly universally, okay, the polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Once again, the dates for the election, all right, are August 2nd, 2022, and November 8th. Okay, when you're thinking about your voter plan, think about if you need a babysitter or a day off, okay? Now go ahead and download that voting plan checklist because it'll help. Also, too, I'm saying this again, it's so important. Tell 3 friends to remember to vote, okay? Now, let's see what else I need to tell you guys about. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this. If you have a Michigan's driver's license or state ID, and okay, you can register to vote or update your registration online. Now, if you want to register to vote or update your registration by mail, you can do so with a printable application form. Now, a third option is to register in person at your clerk's office. You can also give them a phone call at your local clerk and find out what's going on. Now, there are many ways to register to vote in Michigan. You can register at any time up to 8 p.m. on election day, but it's better, you guys, to register as soon as possible. And you can go to mi.gov for step-by-step instructions to register to vote, okay? And I said again, we have a button where you can register at www.votevoice.com when the online voter registration is available, okay? For those of you who say you're not going to vote, okay, let me just go back for a second. Let me thank everybody who is a voter, okay? I want to thank everyone who has already sent back their absentee ballot application. I want to thank everyone who's already decided, okay, that they are going to vote on election day and primary day, all right? I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you to everybody who's already told 3 friends and more. I want to thank all the people out there who are constantly telling people to vote. Everyone who's on Twitter, everyone who's on Facebook, everyone, when you see someone, you encourage them to vote. Everyone who encourages their family members, everyone who takes someone to the polls. I want to thank you for being a voter. I'm sorry to hear about the people who are not voting. I want to ask you, what is keeping you from voting? Do you need a voting plan so you can vote on election day? I went over that, okay? You can go to www.votevoice.com for a free download of a voting plan checklist, and that will help you create your voting plan, okay? Now, you can create your voting plan with your polling place, the time you're going to vote, how you'll get there, right? You're going to walk, you're going to drive, you're going to ride share. Remember, I'm going to say it again. The polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. I'm going to say this again. The election is August 2nd and November 8th, 2022. Talk about to yourself, are you going to need a day off? Are you going to need a babysitter? You're going to need someone to look after your grand. Okay? Or help you with your kids. Hey, take your kids to the polling place. They would love that. Isn't that wonderful to get them started? Just take them straight on to the polls with you, okay? Remember, tell people you're going to vote, okay? If there's something keeping you from voting, if there's something you don't want to talk about with people, you know that there are so many ways you can be eligible to vote here in Michigan. Give your Secretary of State a call. Go to michigan.gov. Call up your clerk's office and tell them, I don't think I can vote because of this. Make sure your voter registration is updated. If you don't think you know how to obtain your voter registration, go to michigan.gov, okay? And they'll help you, all right? I just want to thank everybody for taking these few moments. I'm just out here telling everyone to vote. I know I say the same thing over and over again, but it's important because if I can tell you these things over and over again, if you hear something that doesn't sound correct, you'll know. I remember a few years back, I had someone tell me that voting for one group of people was on one day and voting for another group of people was on another day. And I politely disagreed with the person, okay? And said, I haven't heard that. That's not right. That's after that, I started making sure I tell you the day we're voting. Primary day is August 2nd, 2022. Election day is November 4th, 2022. There are no divisions of who votes here and who votes where as far as voting is concerned. Yes, you vote in your precinct, but we don't have an election day for one group of people and an election day for another group of people. Everybody votes and everybody has a primary on the same day. Okay, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can vote early in Michigan. How do you do that? With your absentee ballot. You can ask for your absentee ballot application. You can fill it in when you receive it. You have to make sure you sign it. Okay, you can mark both elections, or you can just mark it for the primary, or you can just mark it for November elections. Okay, November the 8th, and the primary is on the 2nd of August. You can do that, okay? I'm careful about the registration button on the website. I like to make sure that the actual registration online is open, okay? Now, if you go to www.votevoice.com, if you hit that button, it will take you to the registrations tool. But if the online registration is not open, it will not accept it, okay? So even if you go online to michigan.gov, if the Secretary of State has not opened the online tool, you will not be able to register online. But give a call to your local clerk's office. They're not the enemy. They are your friends. They are hardworking people just like us. They're everyday people just like us. They get up, they go in during a pandemic, They stay for long hours. They make sure we have our absentee ballots. They make sure they're there. They answer the phones to give you your information. So they are our friends. If you want to be a poll worker, and I suggest this, and we know that poll workers and clerks are vilified, and our election workers are vilified, and I'm sorry for that, but they're not our enemies. So if you want to be a poll worker, you can just go to michigan.gov and look up that information. You know, sometimes even on the local clerk's office pages, they have the connections to become a poll worker. Okay, you know what? Just giving me an idea. I'm going to put a button to become a poll worker to take you straight to that site if you visit www.votevoice.com. I just had that idea. That is what I'm going to do. This is just 2022, 2023, 2024. We have work to do, okay? And the most important thing is that we need to vote. We need to use our voices to vote. Make sure you get out there and vote. This is Donna Miller with Vote Voiced. You have a wonderful day, and God bless you, and thank you for being a voter.